Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Risha and this is For the Love of Classics. Today's video is going to be the start of a reading vlog. I'm currently in Pakistan and I thought of starting a reading vlog because I am currently reading. I'm visiting Shaukat Khanum Memorial Cancer Hospital and Research Center in Lahore, and I'm going to share a bit from my trip here. While I was here in Lahore, I decided to visit some of the bookshops here. Unfortunately, there's an ongoing lockdown in Lahore, so all the shops close around 6 and all the bookshops are closed on the weekends as well. So since I'm here on work, I don't get a lot of time off and I haven't been able to visit all the bookshops which I want to, but I did visit one of the most famous bookshops of Lahore, which is Readings. I think I'm going to film a separate video of my first trip to Readings and the ensuing book haul because I ended up buying so many books. So I want to share a bit about my reading. I have been reading Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert, and honestly, I'm loving it. I'm reading it with Tanya. She has her Bookstagram account and also her YouTube channel. She reached out to me suggesting we should read some book together, and Madame Bovary was one book which was common on our TBRs, so we decided to read it in the month of March. We are both slow readers, so it's working out well for us. I have read 6 chapters in this book so far and I'm so surprised. I am loving the writing. I wasn't sure whether I'll enjoy the translation. I'm not even sure which translation my book has. I have the Penguin book, which is by Penguin Random House India, but the translation is amazing. It has such beautiful prose and it doesn't even look like it's translated literature. I'm going to try and sit down, read a bit more now, and I'll keep you guys updated about what goes on. Hi guys, I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys since I got back from Lahore. It has now been a week, so it's probably going to be a monthly reading vlog. I was just filming a video. I filmed a book haul. I just talked about all the classics I got from Readings. I have been reading Madame Bovary as I talked about it in my previous videos. I'm now on book 2 of Madame Bovary. Book 2, chapter 1, and wow, what do I think about the story so far? I am actually really enjoying it. I can see the dilemma Emma Bovary has. She thought she was escaping the boredom and the countryside she was living in when she decided to marry this doctor. She thought her life was going to be exotic, but it's actually not exotic at all. It's as dull as ever. Her husband is not very ambitious. He is a country doctor. He doesn't want to grow. He just wants his life to go on as it is. He doesn't want to improve. He doesn't want to, work further or study further to become a better doctor, to become a better person. He's just content with having a beautiful wife as his. And he's just happy that, he has a few patients to see every day. He doesn't have to work really hard. He's happy with how things are at home. He doesn't want what Emma Bovary wants, and that's a huge mismatch. And there's a thing that Emma is not talking to her husband at all. She doesn't tell him what she wants. She's just quiet, and she thinks her husband is not what she hoped he would be. So Emma is getting generally more irritated with him. As he grew older, he became grosser in his ways. Emma used sometimes to tuck the red border of his undervest inside his waistcoat, or straighten his caraway, or throw away a shabby pair of gloves that he was about to put on. She did these things not as he imagined for his sake, but for her own, in an outburst of egoism, nervous irritation. She's living with him, but she's not happy with him. She has nothing to do in her life. She just went to one ball and she saw these amazing, flashy things there. She saw these rich people in fancy clothes and fancy dresses, eating fancy food. And now, when she has come back to her own life, she just wishes that she was there. She thinks she's in the wrong place, and she's definitely depressed. So they decide to move from one place to another because she's having some mental problems. Her husband is a doctor and he thinks she's having a nervous disorder, and the best thing for her, according to him, is to move. And so they move to another town. She then started taking vinegar to make herself slim. So she's definitely having some body image issues. She has lost her appetite. She has contracted a hard little cough. Definitely something which is related to mental health. She doesn't have any friends where she's living. So this is how far along I've come in the book, but surprisingly, I am really enjoying it. I thought I wouldn't, because it's going to be about, a very difficult issue. It's going to be about adultery, as far as I know from all the blurbs and reviews I've seen online. Since there was no escape from marriage, there was no concept of divorce back then. These women are basically stuck, and she's young, she's energetic, she wants to do something, she wants to live, and she can't do that with this guy. Definitely having a good time with this French classic. And as I recently was doing a book haul, I noticed a similarity between this and another of the French classics I got by Émile Zola, in which there's also a woman who's trapped in a loveless marriage to her sickly cousin, and then she ends up having a turbulent affair with her husband's friend. What's the deal with these French classics? Why is this theme so common? I would love to hear what you guys have to say about that. I am going to continue reading this. I have to edit a few videos. I have to do a voiceover. I just have been super busy, so I'll keep you guys updated. We'll see how we go along. I traveled through the bus transit system they recently launched in Peshawar, Pakistan. It was super fun to travel through Peshawar in the bus system. It took almost a couple of hours and we still didn't end up going through all the routes the bus goes through. I went with my younger brother and we went early on Sunday because I've heard that it's less busy at that time. I'm going to have some tea now and then edit some videos, study a bit, and then read before I go to sleep. I'll keep you guys updated. I'm not sure where this vlog is going, but I do want to keep a track of my reading, so I'll definitely continue this vlog. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I think I'm going to be ending this vlog here because otherwise there's going to be no end to this long 2-month vlog. It's crazy that I haven't finished Madame Bovary in the last 2 months. I'm still on page number 120. Did I just read 2 pages since I last vlogged? Guys, you know the thing is, I haven't been doing a lot of reading. I know this is a booktube channel. I know you guys are here because you guys want me to talk about books. But the thing is, I haven't been reading for the last 2 months. It's not that I have been in a reading slump. It's not exactly that. I was just talking to my sister earlier and she was telling me the reason why I haven't been reading is because life is happening. And when life is happening around you, you gotta live the life. And that just sounded so right, and I thought I would share that here. Last year was in lockdown and I had all the time in the world. So I did a lot of reading, I made a lot of videos. I still want to continue with the same pace, but I have noticed in the last 2 months that I cannot keep up. So even though I have been visiting bookshops and I've been buying books, but I haven't been reading as consistently, and I don't feel comfortable talking about books when I'm not reading. I don't know why. I know many of you guys suggested I make videos about my favorite male authors, my favorite female authors, a list of my favorite translated fiction, and I am going to do that. But I haven't done it yet. I think I'm going to try and film one of those videos today. What I did do in the last month was, well, I'm in Dubai at the moment and I visited a couple of bookshops here. I went to Magrudy's, I went to Kinokuniya, I went to a new bookshop which I visited in 2016. So it's not a new shop, it's an old shop I visited almost 5 years ago. It's still there, going strong. what else did I do? Yeah, when I was traveling from Pakistan to the UAE, I decided to bring a couple of books from Pakistan here because as I travel back and forth, I miss my books so much. Even when I'm not reading them, I miss having them with me. So I bought a couple of books which I had in my bookshelf in Pakistan, and I'm going to show you the ones I decided to bring here. So the first book which I brought from Pakistan to UAE was No Name by Wilkie Collins. I recently bought it. I bought it here because I know I'm not going to be reading it anytime soon. So I'll just keep it safe here. A Pair of Blue Eyes by Thomas Hardy. Another book which I recently got, but I know I won't be reading it anytime soon, so I just want to keep it safe here. It's The American by Henry James. I have read this book and I really enjoyed it. So it's one of those books which I have already read, but I want to keep it with all my other Collins classics here. The reason why I was able to do that is because I wasn't carrying a lot of weight with me while I was traveling, so I just decided to bring my books instead. Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. This was in Pakistan, one of my favorite books. I've read it, love it. And then Dracula by Bram Stoker, another book which I have read. I think there were a couple of other ones as well. I'm not sure which other books I bought from Pakistan because as soon as I came, I just put them on the shelves. So, yep, I'm going to end this vlog here because there's no more updates about Madame Bovary so far. There is a topic which has made me curious to read again, and that is the topic of Palestine. I want to educate myself on the topic. There are some Bookstagram accounts which are sharing a lot of books on educating yourself about the issue. I definitely plan to read some of the books that have been popping up. I was looking for these books at Kinokuniya, at McGrudy's, but they are running out of stock. I felt really happy when I learned that these books were out of stock because it made me realize that people are curious, they want to know, they want to educate themselves, and that is the first step which anyone can take in helping out people of Palestine. So I wanted to buy Justice for Some, but it was out of stock. It is by Noura Erakat. And then there is Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Angela Y. Davis, another book which was out of stock. The Blue Between Sky and Water. This is by Susan Abu Lahwa, another book which was out of stock. Palestine's Children by Ghassan Kanafani, another book which was out of stock. The 100 Years War on Palestine by Rashid Khalidi. Now this book was out of stock. There was no physical copy of it available. Nashwa is hosting a read-along for this book on her channel. It's going to start on 1st June, and I definitely plan to join in because I do want to read this book. And the thing with me and non-fiction is that we don't work very well. So being a part of a read-along will definitely help, and I know this topic is something which I do want to learn more about. Then there is The Ethnic Cleansing of Palestine by Ilan Pappe. I apologize if I am pronouncing the names incorrectly, but this book was out of stock as well. Then there is On Palestine by Noam Chomsky and Ilan Pappe, out of stock. Men in the Sun by Ghassan Kanafani, out of stock. All That's Left to You, a novella and short stories by Ghulam Kanafani, out of stock. Then there was this non-fiction which is a recent release. It's a release from the year 2020 if I'm not wrong. It's called The Beauty of Your Face by Sahar Mustafa. Sahar Mustafa is a Palestinian writer, and it's a story about a Palestinian girl. This book was definitely available in a lot of bookshops. Morning in Jenin by Susan Abu Lahwa, out of stock. Return, a Palestinian memoir by Ghada Karmi, not available. Against the Loveless World by Susan Abu Lahwa. Salt Houses by Hala Alian. I Saw Ramallah by Murid Barghouti. Didn't find this one. Palestine, a Socialist Introduction, edited by Somaya Awad and Brian Bean, wasn't available. I Was Born There, I Was Born Here by Murid Barghouti, out of stock. Sharon and My Mother-in-Law. This one I saw at Kinokuniya. And Fast Times in Palestine by Pamela Olson, and Gaza in Crisis by Noam Chomsky and Island Pap, and The Way to the Spring, Life and Death in Palestine by Ben Ehrenreich, and In Search of Fatima, A Palestinian Story by Ghada Karmi. So a lot of these books were out of stock. I just saw 2 or 3 of these at one of the bookstores, but none of the ones which I wanted to read, which were non-fiction about Palestine. So I will be reading The 100 Years War on Palestine by Rashid Khalidi, a history of settler colonial conquest and resistance since 1917 to 2017. So this book is 350 pages long. And the second book which I plan to read is Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Angela Y. Davis. Wait, this is 150 pages long, so relatively shorter book, and I'm really looking forward to reading these, especially The 100 Years War on Palestine with Nashwa. So if you plan on reading this as well, please check out Nashwa's video because she's hosting a read along. I haven't been able to enjoy Eid, which is like a happy festival for Muslims around the world. I know all the Muslims around the world haven't been able to properly celebrate Eid. At the back of our minds, we are thinking about Palestinians all the time, and my heart breaks every time I think of them. It just hurts here because of what's going on there. So I would ask you all to read about the issue as well, just to, educate yourself, because we can't keep our eyes closed all the time. And I think I'm going to be ending my vlog here. I will try to read more, I promise. I will try to film more as well. Thank you so much for staying here even when I'm not uploading. I definitely appreciate it. And I'm going to see you all in my next video very, very soon. Bye.